Vancouver versus Edmonton, two very sought after cities for two very different reasons. Join me as I compare the most livable city in North America versus the most affordable city in North America. And at the very end, I'm going to share some stories of clients that I've helped move in both directions. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is about real estate in Vancouver, subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications to be the first to learn what's going on in the current market. My name is Megan Becker, local realtor. Myself and my team get calls every day from people looking to make this incredible city their home. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, text, or email, and I'm excited to help you make moves in the best city in Canada. All right, Edmonton, Vancouver, Vancouver, Edmonton. Well, there is no better person to talk about these two cities from a real estate and living perspective than yours truly. I actually grew up in Edmonton and I sold real estate there for a handful of years, and I was really excited to break down these two cities from a living standpoint, a real estate standpoint, and really helping you figure out what makes the most sense for your family. I've broken it down into a handful of categories. We're going to talk about the cost of living, we're going to talk about real estate, we're going to talk about real estate investing, lifestyle, climate, the economy, and I'm going to share some mindset that's going to help you figure out what makes most sense for your family. All right, let's talk about cost of living first. Well, it's no surprise, Edmonton wins in that category. So Edmonton, we're going to talk about rent here first because I have a separate category that we're going to dive into real estate prices and what that looks like. But let's talk about rent. In Edmonton, we're looking at cost for a 1-bedroom at $1,400 a month. For a 3-bedroom, we're looking about $1,930 a month. Vancouver, for a 1-bedroom, about $2,650 a month, and a 3-bedroom, about $4,545. We're looking at utilities. So this is heating, cooling, electricity, and garbage. In Vancouver, we're looking at about $145 a month. In Edmonton, we are a little bit higher. We're looking at $295 a month. Just the drastic change in temperature is one of the biggest factors there. And then add in your internet, which is roughly about the same in both cities, sitting at about $85 a month. When it comes down to groceries, again, Vancouver, just basic goods, milk, cheese, bread, chicken, everything is going to be a little bit more expensive, and especially dependent on the grocery store that you go to. That's the same in Edmonton as well. So groceries for the average single person in Vancouver, we're sitting at about $375, whereas in Edmonton, we're sitting a little bit lower at about $320. Now let's look at transportation. So when it comes to fuel, Vancouver sitting about 1.9 a liter, Edmonton sitting a little bit lower at 1.4. Transportation for a bus pass, SkyTrain pass, light rail transit in Vancouver is about $105, and in Edmonton fairly similar at about $100. So your estimated cost of living in Vancouver, we're sitting about $3,120. In Edmonton, we're sitting at about $2,085. Now let's get into the fun part, real estate. So I actually have two properties here. I have clients, I sold them a property in 2022, so not too long ago, literally exactly 2 years ago to the date here, and due to unfortunate circumstances, they've had to move. So I've referred their listing to a very good trusted colleague in Edmonton, and the property is currently listed on the market right now. So I wanted to do a little side-by-side comparison. So this is the property here in Edmonton. It was built in 2019. It is a 4-bed, 4-bath, 1,848 square foot infill property is what they're called. It's in Belgravia, which is an older, very established, very desirable neighborhood, close to the university, close to the transit, close to the river valley, really, really great schools, and it's got a legal suite in it. And the property is currently listed on the market for $835,000. But let's compare, what would that same property look like in Vancouver? So here's a property very similar in Vancouver. It's the same thing. It's a 4-bed, 4-bath. This one is about 2,083 square feet, built in 2019. Really great neighborhood, close to great schools, transportation, parks, everything like that. And it's currently listed for $2.4 million. So that proves my point all along. Everyone knows that real estate is location. I always say, you're not paying for square footage, you're not paying for, the 4-bed, the 4-bath. You are paying for where that 4-bed, 4-bath is located and the lifestyle that's attached to it. So I know I compared these two properties, but you can't really compare property to property because it's everything else that the lifestyle and the city affords you. Benchmark sale price at the time of this recording, which is September of 2024, in Edmonton is sitting at $435,000. Contrast to Vancouver, where benchmark sale price for all residential properties is sitting at $1,195,900. And I know I get the comment all the time of, oh, I could buy so much more house in Vancouver, or I could sell my home in Edmonton and buy a tiny condo in Vancouver. And you're absolutely right. You absolutely can. But I'd love for you, put it in the comments. Have you moved city to city? Why did it make sense for you? Have you moved from Edmonton to Vancouver? Did you move from Vancouver to Edmonton? I would love for you to share. All right, let's move on to the next category, which is real estate investing. And each city lends itself to a very different type of investor, which is a really cool opportunity. So when we look at Vancouver, Vancouver is known for appreciation. We look at property values over the last 10 years, 20 years, and we've seen the appreciation. There honestly probably is not another city in the world like Vancouver that's seen the amount of appreciation that Vancouver has. And the reason being, it's landlocked. You've got the ocean and you've got the mountains. So the city can't expand. It can only go up, and the desirability is so high because of the gorgeous ocean and mountains that the property values keep increasing. So if you look at all of the different cities in the greater Vancouver area over the last 10 years, we've seen appreciation anywhere from 40 to 170%. Look at one specific area, townhomes in Whistler have gone up 213%. Squamish and Maple Ridge townhomes have gone up 185%. Apartments in Port Coquitlam have gone up 182% over the last 10 years. So you look at little pockets like that and you can see how much appreciation is. The tough part about Vancouver is you need a large down payment to get in the market. It's very tough to get in the market. And so I always tell people, if you want appreciation, go to Vancouver. But if you want cash flow and a lower barrier to entry into the investor space, let's talk about Edmonton. So Edmonton is really great for new investors because you can find a suited duplex. So that's 4 doors. You have 2 upstairs units and then 2 basement units. You can find that anywhere between maybe on the low end, like 600 to on the high end, the low millions, just depending on the city. But you're going to find something that cash flows. So if you want that cash flow to be able to have, a couple $100 every single month that your property is bringing in, Edmonton might suit your investment needs. Whereas it's tough with interest rates and the high purchase price of properties in Vancouver to find properties that cash flow. It's not impossible, but it is tough, especially if you're looking at putting the minimum down. The other thing to note about investing is Edmonton, specifically Alberta, the landlord-tenant laws are a little bit more in favor of the landlords. So again, I'm not going to get into the debate of landlords versus tenants by any means, but purely coming from a real estate investor standpoint, there's a reason why investors like a province like Alberta, Edmonton, or Calgary a little bit better than Vancouver. Thanks so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, I would so appreciate if you would subscribe, hit that like button. It tells YouTube that you're valuing the content and encourages me to keep making more. Okay, let's get back into it and talk about the economy. What's Vancouver known for? When it comes to job, there is a lot of industry in the tech space, in the film, and in business. There is a huge hub. People move from all over the place. There's a ton of people, like I said, in the film, Amazon office, Disney, Microsoft, all of these big offices have offices up in Vancouver. Edmonton, on the other hand, has a very strong economy. It's driven by oil and gas. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are moving to Edmonton, is because the economy is so strong and things are very affordable to live there. So let's talk about one of the most important things when it comes down to determining where you want to live, where you want to buy property, and that's lifestyle. What is your lifestyle like? What do you enjoy doing? What is important to you? For Vancouver, people enjoy the outdoors, the walkability, the mild climate, being able to be in the mountains. I don't think I've met a person here that doesn't enjoy at least some form of biking, hiking, winter sports like skiing, snowboarding, or running. Everybody is just so active. one of the things I really enjoy is the amount of like networking groups that are active, either walking or hiking. And then there's just tons of events. It's a large city. There's so many concerts, different music events, different artists will come to the city. There's always stuff going on, especially in the summer. There is nothing like a Vancouver summer. If you want to have fun and just enjoy different experiences, hang out in Vancouver for a summer. A few of my friends asked if I was coming back to Edmonton anytime this summer, and I had to, kind of smirk and say, have you ever spent summer in Vancouver? I don't even want to leave. I don't even want to travel, anywhere else desirable, because it's such an enjoyable city to be in. The weather is great. You can swim, you can be outdoors, the sunsets. There is nothing like a West Coast sunset. Let's contrast that to the Edmonton lifestyle. A lot of my friends travel during the winter. Because things aren't as expensive there, people have more disposable income. You can do a little bit more. You can go on these exotic trips over the winter. Lots of it's weekend trips to the mountains. There's no such thing as there is such thing as a day trip to the mountains, but you're getting up pretty early and you're staying up pretty late and you're probably tired. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I did move from Edmonton to Vancouver, but I did day trips to the mountains on a few occasions, and it was enjoyable and it was a really great opportunity to get out in nature, but it's not the best situation because it's about a 4-hour drive, whether you want to go to Jasper, Canmore, or Banff. And so you have to contrast that. There is a lot more going on in Vancouver, but is it worth the price? There is a lot going on in Edmonton, especially in the summer. There are a lot of festivals. Edmonton is actually known as the festival city. So there's the Folk Fest, there's the Fringe Festival, there's K-Days, there's tons of stuff going on. And so it really just comes down to, what do you like to do? I know that restaurant scene in Edmonton has become very big. All right, let's move on to one of the big ones, which is climate. I think Vancouver wins for this one, but again, there's no win-loss here. Like I mentioned, the goal of this video is really to help you understand what do you and your family value and what makes the most sense for your lifestyle and your goals here. But when it comes to climate, Vancouver, it's mild. It's a mild oceanic climate with wet winters, dry summers. The winters are very rainy. One of the common complaints is that it is very gray, and people will often suffer from that seasonal depression. So whether you get a sad lamp, even just being outside, or jumping on a flight and heading to a sunny destination. But the nice thing is temperatures rarely fall below zero. And then summers are consistently warm, ranging from about 22 to 25 degrees. Sometimes there are weeks where it gets up into the low 30s. In Edmonton, one of the nice things about Edmonton is it gets 325 days of sun. And this is the most in all of Canada. So that was one of the nice things. Even when it was minus 30 or 35, it was still sunny. So there was something about natural sunlight that was really enjoyable. Mind you, I had to wait and start my car for about 30 minutes while it was warming up in the minus 30, but it was sunny outside. But in Edmonton, winters are cold. It does get down to, minus 30, 35, sometimes minus 40 for, a few days or a week period there. And they are long. Oftentimes it'll snow around Halloween, and then snow can sometimes last up until April. And you do get a lot of snow. So you better know how to drive in the snow. And having snow tires or all-season tires, all-terrain tires are an absolute must in Edmonton. But the summers are absolutely gorgeous. They're a little bit shorter, but temperatures similar to Vancouver range from about 20 to 25 degrees. Okay, so how do you choose where to live? It really comes down to your goals and your lifestyle. What is most important to you? So what I wanted to share is a handful of scenarios of clients that I've helped move both ways. When I was selling real estate in Edmonton, I helped a handful of clients. They sold their $1 million plus property and moved to Edmonton. They bought a property, paid cash for that, and put a significant amount of money in the bank. They had a large family. The handful of couples that I'm thinking of, they had 3 kids, the other one had 2 kids, and the other one actually, they wanted land. And you could just get more in Alberta and be able to put some cash in the bank there. And so when it came to them, the family life and being in a city with good schools and being able to have disposable income to provide for their young kids who are growing up was really important. And then being able to have, both parents in a solid job that allowed them a better lifestyle. That's why they chose to live in Edmonton. And they have kids in great schools. They're okay with the harsher weathers because it allows them more money in the bank to do more things as a family. And then on the contrast, I've helped a handful of friends move from Edmonton to Vancouver, and all of these instances, people were moving for better job opportunity and lifestyle. They fell in love with the lifestyle in Vancouver and they got an amazing opportunity for their career out here. And so I was able to help them find properties and tour around, and it was one of my favorite things because I got to show them around this city that I fell in love with and help them fall in love with for the exact same reasons, and then celebrate this incredible job opportunity that they got, because that is one of the things with Vancouver is that there is a lot of economic opportunity out here, and there's a lot of competitive jobs that will pay really well out here. So again, I'm curious, have you moved either way? If you have, I would love for you to share, put it in the comments. I would love to hear your perspective. Or maybe you've moved from another city that was more affordable than Vancouver. Why did it make sense for you to move to Vancouver with the higher cost of living? So I hope you got value from this video. If you're considering making any type of move at all, please reach out. All my info is in the description box below. And until next time, as you can see, it's getting a little dark outside, and one of my favorite things to do is to go for a walk and just watch the sky turn from this gorgeous blue hour to nighttime.